place, Narsarsuaq Airport, Greenland. Greenland might just be the world's most dangerous airport. Similar to Antarctica, the extreme airports in Greenland are often covered in ice. At only 5,900 feet, 1,800 meters, in length, and canvassed in smooth ice, this runway is difficult for pilots. The weather is also often stormy, creating intense turbulence and low visibility on approach, making it very uncomfortable for both flight crew and passengers. Wind shears affect planes which, coupled with the icy runway, can direct them off their course. Oh, and the nearby active volcano also occasionally erupts, sending ash into the clouds which can stall and destroy engines. 9th place, McMurdo Air Station, Antarctica. Antarctica can get pretty icy. Not many people travel to Antarctica, which means that the airport infrastructure there is significantly lacking. This runway isn't particularly short, but it is built on white ice, compacted snow, which can make for a difficult landing, even in good weather conditions. In 1970, a C-121 slid off the runway and still sits off to its side, buried in snow. During the winter, the area is dark 24 hours a day. The airport has no lights on the runway, and during the non-infrequent whiteouts, pilots must land blind, using night vision equipment. 8th place, Princess Juliana International Airport, St. Martin. St. Martin is actually over a beach, like some other runways in the Caribbean Sea. Princess Juliana Airport, located in St. Martin, is perhaps the most famous on the list. This is partly because of the public beach situated just before the runway. Planes must approach over the water at an extremely low altitude. This often results in large and loud gusts of wind and sand engulfing those enjoying the crystal blue water down below. For the pilots, however, bothering visitors is not the only worry. The runway is only around 1.36 miles, 2.2 kilometers, long, which is very short considering many of the large aircrafts that land here generally require more than 2,500 meters to ensure a safe landing. Princess Juliana was initially built for smaller planes, but the booming tourist industry has brought a 340S and 747S into the regular traffic rotation. 7th place, 𝐂𝐲 International Airport, has one of the world's shortest runways. Video of a landing at the 𝐂𝐲 Airport went viral a few years ago, as it has one of the shortest runways of any airport in the world, at 1,722 feet, 525 meters. Not only this, but the paved runway has a downward slope of 18.5%, which makes taking off even more difficult. To add to the already difficult landing, the runway is built right into the Alps, where pilots have to fly through a narrow valley even to prepare for descent. Only specially certified pilots are allowed to land here. The airport is not equipped with lights or instrumentation aids, so in bad weather landing is impossible. 6th place, Lukla Airport, Nepal. Nepal is nestled in the Himalayas. The Lukla Airport, technically Tenzing-Hillary Airport, in Nepal serves as the main airport for those visiting Mount Everest. Part of what makes this airport so difficult to land on is the way it is nestled in between mountains, and the incredibly short length of the runway. In fact, the airport is quite small. The airport sometimes loses electric power, cutting off communication with the controllers. This makes landings risky even in perfect conditions. The airport is positioned 9,325 feet, 2.84 kilometers, high and is built on the side of a mountain. The runway is one direction only and is just 1,600 feet, 488 m, long, with serious slopes and angles. At one end of the runway is a mountain wall and the other end is a dramatic 2,000 foot, 600 mount, plunge into the valley. 5. Gisborne Airport, New Zealand. New Zealand has a rail track running through it. Another entry from New Zealand. Gisborne Airport is also considered to be one of the world's most difficult airports. Located on the outskirts of Gisborne, this airport actually has a railway intersecting its runway at one point. It has 3 grass runways and 1 main runway. Landings require accurate coordination with approaching trains. For this reason, it is not uncommon for either planes or trains to be delayed to allow the other to safely pass. 4. Wellington International Airport, New Zealand. New Zealand is built in the mountains located in New Zealand. Wellington International Airport is yet another of the world's most difficult airports to land at. Featuring a 6,350 feet, 1935 meters, long runway, both ends appear to start and end in water. Approaching it is also very tricky for pilots, as the airport is located in a mountainous area of the country which is famed for its gusty winds, which make maneuvering for landings even more tricky. Even after landing, passengers can be swept off their feet by the strong gusts. Despite this, there have been very few safety incidents. Other than that, in the past, the airport had been recognized as having one of the best terminals in the world. Despite this, it is constantly ranked among the scariest places to land anywhere in the world. 3rd place, Telluride Regional Airport is located in southwest Colorado. You might want to avoid traveling to Telluride Regional Airport. Telluride Regional Airport is located in southwest Colorado and is widely considered one of the scariest in the world. Around 5 miles, 8 kilometers, west of the town of Telluride, it is one of the highest airports by elevation in America, at 9,070 feet, 2.76 kilometers. It was built in the 1980s and boasted over 9,400 operations a year, at least before the current COVID-19 crisis. While actually quite safe in reality, the approach to it can seem quite hair-raising, to say the least. Located on a small plateau, it features 1,000 foot, 300 mount, sheer cliffs at both ends of the runway, and pilots need to overcome strong vertical turbulence from the mountain winds during winter months. Not only that, but each end of the runway is actually slightly higher than the middle, creating a dip, although this was reduced during a 2009 renovation. Many passengers who've taken the trip will confirm that it's quite the white-knuckle ride. 2nd place, Congonhas Airport, Brazil. Congonhas has a very short runway. Is not only scary, it is also one of the world's most dangerous airports. Another airport with a short runway, it is also located in a heavily built-up portion of the enormous city. It feels as if you're scraping the tops of high-rise buildings as you land here. One of 4 airports serving the city, it has become famed for its risky runways that are often accused of being the slipperiest in the world, because its runway had not been constructed with proper grooves to drain away excess rainwater, leading to a build-up of standing water at times. This has resulted in a large number of fatal crashes. In fact, over the years there have been some very serious accidents at the airport. One notable example occurred in 2007 when TAM Airlines Airbus A320 overran runway 35L during moderate rain. The plane crashed into a nearby warehouse, killing all 187 people on board and 12 civilians on the ground. 1st place, Saba Airport, Caribbean island of Saba, is a hazardous airport to approach. 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬 Airport, otherwise known as Saba Airport, is one of the world's scariest airports. Located on the Dutch Caribbean island of Saba, it lies about 27 miles, 45 kilometers, south of St. Martin. Its runway is a pitiful 1,300 feet, 400 meters, long, making it one of the shortest commercial airports in the world. This tiny runway length means only the very best pilots have what it takes to safely land and take off from it. But its short runway is not the only hazard would-be approaching pilots need to be aware of. The airport is surrounded by jagged terrain and a sharp left bank immediately before landing. It might be safer to take the ferry or swim if you want to visit this place,